Dozens of dogs are now recovering after authorities uncover a dog fighting ring in Adams County. Our reporter has a first-hand account of the horrific scene. Plus, we're live in Hinds County as election results come in. And we have a sneak peek at 2 museums coming to the metro in just over a month.
And temperatures are slowly cooling down in Mississippi as a front moves from north to south across the state. Behind the front, a lot of cloud cover, some light rain showers. The coverage of that rain will be increasing as we go through the overnight hours and through the day tomorrow. So Wednesday is going to be a wet and a chilly day. Here's a look at what's out there right now in terms of rain on Live IMAX 12. Just some light rain around Durant and then over towards Louisville and into Philadelphia and Neshoba County. Temperature-wise, we are down now to 68 degrees at the 9 o'clock hour. It gets progressively cooler the farther north you go, only in the mid-50s right now over parts of the Delta. Your high temperatures tomorrow, no warm up at all. With the cloud cover, the rain, a north wind, we're only going to make it into the upper 50s to low 60s for highs. But the sun and warmer weather does come back by the weekend. You'll see that forecast coming up in 12 minutes.
Large-scale dogfighting ring was uncovered in Adams County overnight. Now the Sheriff's Department is searching for the man responsible. WJTV's Jesse Finbert joins us with more. Jesse, I know you were out in the field all day today.
Melanie, I have never seen anything like this before. Dogs on the edge of death and young pups whose future, at least until today, was likely to be one of pain, torture, and death.
Dogs have battle wounds all over them.
The Adams County Sheriff's Department is looking for Tommy Queen. They want to question him about a possible illegal dogfighting ring at his home. Deputies arrived at Queen's residence after an anonymous tipster said they heard dogs fighting at Queen's home Monday evening. Deputies arrived on scene and quickly realized that this was much larger than a few dogs fighting.
All they could see was eyes throughout the wood line. Started shining lights. We counted at least 35 pit bulls that night. So, of course, that started another ongoing investigation, which led over into what you see today here. Once we got back out here today, that number increased.
Sheriff Patton says they found more than 50 dogs in Queen's backyard. I asked Sheriff Patton if he has any idea of how long he thinks Queen is running this operation, but he said it is too early in the investigation to determine.
I don't even want to estimate on that, but it's obviously it didn't start last night.
One neighbor I spoke to speculates that it's been going on for years.
3 years from today, we started noticing a lot of activity going on over there, and the dogs always cutting up, and they was always in and out late at night. I got 2 beautiful boys that I'm scared for their lives because of them dogs getting loose.
Sheriff Patton says that this is still an ongoing investigation. No arrest warrants have been issued, but he says that the Sheriff's Department does want to speak with Queen.
So we're asking the people of Adams County and the surrounding communities that if you see Mr. Queen, tell him he need to come see us at 306 State Street.
Jesse, I know the dogs were in terrible condition, but the conditions out there at that place were awful too.
I've never, like I said in the intro, I have never seen anything this bad in my entire life. I mean, the dogs were in bad condition, obviously, but the water they were drinking was yellow. There was an open sewage pipe that was just spewing garbage, and they didn't even figure that out until like halfway through the time that we were there. I was able to get some of that on camera too. I mean, it was just, I've never seen anything like it.
Well, I think from what I'm learning too is that they need help down there. Adams County needs help with dog food and other things for these dogs.
Yeah, absolutely. The sheriff was telling all of the reporters that were there that they need to get the word out about getting food down there, getting veterinarians to volunteer. They don't care where the help comes from. Mm-hmm. They want help from anywhere in the country. And the sheriff really stressed that in our interview. He wants everyone to know that it doesn't matter if you're from New Jersey, Mississippi, California, send what you can. This is a tragedy.
And it's a lot of money involved, and this is a county certainly that doesn't have extra money for doing this.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, the drive-in, it was on a dirt road. I mean, it's not a very wealthy area.
No. All right, Jesse, thank you so much,
Absolutely.
And we will keep you updated on this story. Thank you. 32 other dogs are recovering from a dogfighting ring in Madison County. 4 men are behind bars in this bust. Investigators say all of the dogs suffered from malnourishment and didn't have access to water. The race for Hinds County Attorney is very close. WJTV's Candace Coleman is live outside the courthouse where ballots are being counted. Candace, who's in the lead?
Yes, Melanie, at our last check, Malcolm Harrison was in the lead with 46% of the votes. Gerald Mumford was in second place, a very close second place, with 45% of the votes. And then incumbent Hinds County Attorney Martin Perkins had less than 10% of those votes. Now, this was when 91 of the 110 precincts had their votes in, and right now volunteers are still bringing in those cases to be counted, so the numbers can change at any moment right now. Tonight has been moving extremely fast. That's because there was a very, very low voter turnout. And in fact, there were only 8,000 of 120,000 votes in when those 91 precincts were reporting. A Hinds County commissioner told me earlier that they said a good turnout today would be 25,000 votes. Right now, it doesn't look like they're going to meet that goal. And if no one gets to 50% of those votes tonight, they will go into a runoff. Now, it's hard to get people out to vote for just one race, but it's also even harder to get them out for runoffs. So we'll see what the runoff race looks like if it does get to that. I have to get back inside because they're still counting those votes, and they may have all of them right now. You can keep up with these votes and with these results on my Twitter. That's Candace S. Coleman, and I'll have an update very shortly on there. Melanie?
You get back inside there. The Democratic mayor of Vicksburg says he is considering running for lieutenant governor of Mississippi, and he may even cross party lines. George Flagg says he will decide in the next 6 months whether to run in the 2019 election. Flagg has not ruled out running as a Republican, but he wants to do some statewide polling before he decides. He was a member of the State House from 1988 to 2013. Now, the current lieutenant governor has reached his term limit and cannot run again. Reading a book or taking a class on Mississippi history is great, but what if you could see that history in person? Well, you soon can at the Mississippi History and Civil Rights Museums. And WJTV's Andrew Nomura got a sneak peek inside.
Some say time is precious.
The 500-year-old 25-foot canoe.
Reasons why here on North Street they are doing all they can to preserve it.
I don't think that we can be successful as a society, as a state, as a culture, if we don't understand where we've come from.
Katie Blunt is the head of the State Department of History and Archives. She says these two museums have been in the making as long as some of these artifacts. People will learn everything from the first settlers of the state to the civil rights era.
There are lots of ways to learn our history, books and in the classroom, but maybe not as another way that's as engaging and exciting and new as these museums.
Living history is here too.
I love it. I thought I'd never be able to see this happen.
Peggy Connor fought on the front lines of the battle for civil rights. She drove up from Hattiesburg. She says the museum illustrates what she and others did back then.
They put their lives on the line and didn't think twice. Every day they dressed for going to jail and didn't complain.
Proving that reaching back will only teach us how to move forward. Andrew Nomura, WJTV 12.
Both museums open December 9th. Officials tell us that opening weekend is already sold out. Now, friends and family gathered to remember a woman who died over the weekend from a stabbing. Police say that Shervondria Mack was in a car with 2 other people when it happened. They tell us that she was threatening one of the people in the car with a gun when that person stabbed her. Now, we spoke with a pastor who knew Mack well and the president of Jackson State University who came to pay his respects.
She's going to be truly missed, despite any rumors that you see on social media, whatever. It doesn't even matter because we lost an angel.
What I know is she's an outstanding student, and what I'm hearing from her family and friends is that she loved the university. And so I want to just pay my respects on behalf of the university myself.
And this case will go to the grand jury. It's a multi-billion-dollar criminal industry, and authorities say it could be happening right before your eyes, and you may not realize it. Human trafficking is a major problem in the United States. Last month, we told you about a nationwide operation that resulted in 84 minors being rescued from traffickers. Tonight, in a special report, we talked to law enforcers who say they're constantly working to shed light on the issue and help people see the warning signs.
Encourage people to be diligent. We encourage people to get information about human trafficking, and if they see anything that they suspect is suspicious, to please report that to law enforcement.
Authorities say sex trafficking is one of the biggest criminal industries, only second to the trading of illegal weapons. Our special report airs tonight on WJTV 12 at 10. Two teens caught with drugs and a stolen gun had an emotional first appearance in court. The judge also shared his feelings on the two 18-year-olds facing charges.
While I get over being very disturbed, young men coming over here and throwing their lives away. And that's our primary.
We told you about this arrest late last night. An off-duty Rankin County deputy spotted Zacharias Edwards and Tori McWilliams driving without headlights. He later found marijuana, a digital scale, and a stolen gun in their car. Emotion set in for the teens when the judge denied their bonds. The Rankin County Sheriff says he hopes this is a lesson for the suspects.
He is early enough in his criminal career that he realizes, oh, this is not what I wanted out of life, and maybe he's salvageable. We sure hope so, because we have enough of them in prison that aren't salvageable, that we don't need back on the street.
Edwards and McWilliams will be back in court next Tuesday. They are facing drug and burglary charges. Officials say there may be another arrest in this case. A group of Jackson Public School parents have dropped their lawsuit against the state superintendent. The plaintiffs wanted a hearing so parents could give their input before a state takeover of the school district. The governor decided against that takeover and instead chose to create a commission with the Jackson mayor and W.K. Kellogg Foundation. One of the parents involved in the lawsuit tells us that the group believes this is the best possible option. He says the lawsuit still accomplished at least one goal.
One good thing I can say about all of this, including our lawsuit, is that it has fired up people. It has put a sense of urgency in it that something has to be done right now so that we don't lose another year, another 2 years, another 5 years, and certainly not another generation of kids.
The judge dismissed the lawsuit without prejudice, which means the parents can refile it at any moment. Tomorrow, that new commission of 15 people will meet for the first time. It is called the Better Together Commission, and its purpose is to make changes in the Jackson Public School District. That meeting is at 10 a.m. at the Mississippi Museum of Art, and it is open to the public. Now, we'll send it over to Ken for a check of the forecast.
All right, it looks like it's going to be a chilly, wet Wednesday, but as we get into Thursday, skies will be clearing in the afternoon, and that's going to lead to some pretty nice fall weather for Veterans Day weekend. A lot of sunshine and crisp temperatures, especially in the morning time. You'll see that 8-day forecast coming up next. You're watching WJTV 12. Well, a cold front is now moving through Mississippi, and most of our cloud cover and rain is actually going to be behind the front this time around. So a chilly rain is coming tonight and through the day tomorrow. It's already starting up here to the north of us on Live IMAX 12. We got some rain from Louisville down to Philadelphia, around Kosciuszko and Durant as well. The coverage of the rain will be increasing as we go through Wednesday, not ending until early Thursday morning. There you see our north wind, so we know the fronts come through, and the temperature has dropped significantly. It's now down to 68 degrees. We actually made it up to 85 this afternoon, only 1 degree away from tying a record high, and that's the third time we have done that in the past week. We've had 6 consecutive days of high temperatures in the 80s, but no more. After this front comes through, we're going to cool down and stay cool for several days. 68 degrees in Jackson, but it gets progressively cooler the farther north and west you go. We are in the mid-50s right now in the Delta, and we will be in the mid-50s here in the metro by tomorrow morning. And look at this, a light rain all day tomorrow with temperatures just hovering in the mid-50s to low 60s. all day long. So just a nasty day on your Wednesday. We will start in the mid-50s here, but it's going to be even cooler up to the northwest of us in the Delta. And then your highs tomorrow staying in the 50s all day to the northwest of us, barely in the low 60s here. We may bump it up a couple of degrees to our southeast in the Pine Belt, but still a kind of a cool day across the entire state thanks to this high pressure. That's our weather maker coming in from the north. At the same time, this moisture moving in from the west. So cool at the surface and then that moisture overrunning the cool air. But then we will see those skies clearing on your Thursday afternoon, and that's going to give us some pretty decent weather. Fall weather, though, for Friday and Saturday. And here's a look at the rain coming in late tomorrow, about midnight, Wednesday going into Thursday. It's still going to be raining, but skies will clear, let's say about lunchtime on your Thursday, and we're not expecting any thunderstorms, no severe weather, just light to moderate rain. Most places picking up a ½ inch of rain or less. So your forecast for tonight, 30% chance of scattered showers with lows in the mid-50s, warming up only to about 61 tomorrow, with the coverage of the rain increasing to about 70%. So the rain comes to an end early Thursday. The sun reappears Thursday afternoon. Temperature's still cool, but we will gradually warm up as we see more sunshine. Of course, with clear skies at night, it'll be cold overnight with temperature starting in the mid-40s, but then warming into the upper 60s to low 70s over the weekend. Our next chance of rain coming in Sunday, but even then, only a 20% chance. Melanie, over to you.
Thank you, Ken. Coming up, 2 police officers called to a theft decide to do more than just arrest the suspect. They actually give her what she wanted. We'll explain why when we come back. 2 North Carolina police officers went out of their way to lend a helping hand to a woman after officials say she broke the law. The officers arrested the woman who stole $36 worth of food from the grocery store. The woman told them she had not had any food in her house for 3 days and she needed to feed her kids. The officers looked in her fridge and saw it was bare. They still had to charge her with misdemeanor larceny, but they decided to buy her $140 worth of groceries.
It's not all about just going out and charging folks. Sometimes you got to go that extra mile and look for other ways of helping and improving your community and the quality of life for the people in the community. And if that improves her life a little bit and it helps her, I will do it again tomorrow.
The officers say the woman had recently suffered a traumatic brain injury and is currently unable to work. AT&T has teamed up with the national organization to provide high-speed internet to rural parts of Mississippi. The national program is a partnership with the Federal Communications Commission. Officials tell us the fixed wireless internet service allows people now to stream videos, do homework, and much more. AT&T is hoping to reach 133,000 homes in Mississippi by 2020. Still to come, Natchez High School holds an assembly, all for one student after a teacher says he came to her rescue. Hear why they both ended up at the hospital when we come back. Canton Nissan launched a new workforce program today. It's going to teach participants the skills to become part of the workforce, especially if they want to work at Nissan. The company says this class is the first of its kind for the state of Mississippi. Canton's mayor says he's happy the service is coming to his city.
I was knocking on doors and talking to people. One of the things they said, I need a job, I want a job. The point of the matter, you can't have a job if you don't have a skill. You have to have a skill in order to have a pathway to Nissan or in the business of that nature.
There was a reception with organizers before the presentation. Now, a Natchez teacher assistant is praising the student that she says came to her rescue when she found herself alone with a dislocated hip. Davian Watson found Robin Kaiser in a Walgreens parking lot in obvious pain. He held her leg up and helped her into her car. When Kaiser drove off, she thought that was the last she would see of the 10th grader, but Watson and his grandma followed her all the way to the hospital and then helped her into the emergency room. Today, Kaiser gave Watson a token of her appreciation at an assembly at Natchez High School. Thank you very much. What a wonderful, wonderful story, and what a wonderful young man. We'll be back with a look at your forecast from our chief meteorologist, who's also from Natchez, after the break.
Well, today we had high temperatures in the mid-80s, just 1 degree shy of a record high. Tomorrow, we won't even be thinking about record highs. In fact, it's going to be a little bit chilly out there with the rain coming down, a north breeze, temperatures holding in the 50s for much of the day. We will see those numbers gradually warming up over the weekend as the sunshine returns.
All right, Ken, thank you so much. And we thank you for joining us for WJTV on the CW. Remember, news, weather, and sports available 24/7 at WJTV.com and on our news and weather apps. Be sure to engage us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be back at 10 on WJTV 12. Good night.